He got it.
Deep to left center field. And it is gone. Salvi with a drive. That's deep to left center field. And it is gone.
Salvador Perez with his 10th home run made it a beauty.
Game over. The Royals are within one game of first place in the American League Central. It's another hot evening in Kansas City where we come to you from Kauffman Stadium for the final game of this series between the Indians and the Royals. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Hi, everybody. Steve Physioc, Rex Hudler with you. The first two games of this series have been much like 2014 and 2015. Tight and tense with plenty of drama at the end.
Sure enough, but they got players, Fizz. They're all pulling on the same end of the rope, especially the back end of that bullpen being a little bit shallow. Hey, how about Jack Soria? Did a great job.
Yes, he did. And how about the way the offense is picking things up?
That's right. They love playing at home. There's no doubt about it. But all of a sudden, even on the road, that last game in Chicago, they found something. The home runs, and this has been a beautiful thing. The Royals' last couple of seasons have been last in home runs in the league. They don't care. They find their ways to win. But I tell you, those really take pressure off that pitcher when they hit him over the wall.
And the Royals have done the job at home this year with a major league best 75% win percentage at home, plus 24 run differential. The team ERA at 3.3, and look at the series victories.
And that's the bottom line. That's all you want. That's all they play the game for, to win. Take the series.
When we come back, we'll talk defense and how the important double plays have been a cornerstone of the Royals' success against Cleveland. That's next. to watch the Royals' outstanding defense, and it's our Honda most trusted defense because the double plays turned at critical times in the series.
Oh, I'm telling you what, they are so steady out there. Pitchers trust these guys for sure, because just like the home runs help that pitcher relax a little bit, so do these. I mean, Chris Young, when he rolled that double play last night, you could see that air go out of him going, oh, wonderful. Look at how they're doing it. Merrifield, Escobar, they're getting it done quick. Watch Rusty Coons. Yeah, they're all believers. They love to see it.
When we come back, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery will talk tonight's starting pitchers, Corey Kluber and Ian Kennedy. Time for Jeff Montgomery to give us a scouting report of tonight's starting pitchers.
Yeah, Fez, we're going to look at two guys whose seasons have really kind of gone in opposite directions. And first, we're going to take a look at Corey Kluber, a guy who traditionally doesn't start out really on fire, even going back to 2014 when he won the American League Cy Young. He was not real good in April. He got things going and eventually won the Cy Young. This year, kind of doing the same thing, but his last 5 starts have been stellar for Kluber. Royals saw him just a little while back, and now Ian Kennedy, again, kind of the opposite direction. Really nice first 6 starts of the season, looking to get things back on track. Hopefully, he can feed off the energy from these last 5 starts he's seen from his cohorts.
Thank you very much, Monty. When we come back, Joel Goldberg talks the Royals' mighty bullpen. The relievers, yes, have been red hot.
Kansas City Royals as they go for the sweep, and they have now won 8 straight at Kauffman Stadium, 6-0 homestand before that road trip, and now 2-0 to start this one out for the defending world champions. Joel Goldberg back here in left field. The Royals' 2.57 ERA for the bullpen is the best in the major leagues, and last night, without their big guns, Davis and Herrera and Hochevar not available, they still took care of business. Arcia in the driver's seat, looks at all the bullpen over the last 6, and yes, guys like Davis have got it done, but last night it was Soria, and over those last 6, a 1.04 ERA, just 2 runs allowed, opponents batting under 200 against the pen, and they are getting contributions from that group top to bottom. Dylan G and Joakim Soria finished the deal last night, and the Royals will look to finish the Indians and move into a tie for first. Fizz and Hud are back next.
Fox Sports Kansas City is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit us at yourmidwestforddealers.com. We told you it's a hot one at the K. Temperature currently 97 degrees. Winds out of the northwest at just 4 miles an hour. And Ian Kennedy makes his 13th start. Our Academy leaderboard shows you Ian is one of many glad to be back home.
That's right. You look at that 1.46 ERA. That's a beautiful thing, and hopefully he'll be able to hold the drive here. He's only allowed just a 217 average here as well. So Kennedy going to try to mix in all 4 of his pitches. He loves his fastball. And, you know, on the season this year, the opponent average on his fastball that averages 91 is just at 213.
Rajai Davis hit 9th in games 1 and 2, but they moved him up because he's 5 for 10 off the Royals right-hander. Then the rest of the lineup is pretty much the same.
Yep. Cleveland Indians are coming. Believe it.
Time for our forward around the horn Royals defense.
We're going to show you. You're only as good as your 35 guys that you pull up during the course of a season. And by the looks of things, these rookies that are contributing nightly on defense and with the bats in their hands have worked. They're looking good. Well, where's Whitley? There he is. He's out in left field today. A little bit different position. Fuentes in right. Got a little sun action early. Make sure those glasses are on, because those low liners will sometimes get lost in the sun. Cuthbert, tell you what, The defense, Cuthbert's playing over at third base. Wow, even Mike Moustakas is impressed.
Kennedy ready, the first pitch of the ball game. And Davis goes after it, pops it up. Second base. And taking care of it is Christian Colon. So one pitch, one out. The Royals won games 1, 2-1 and 3-2. Volquez and Soria got the victories, and Merrifield and Salvador Perez were the hitting stars. Now Jason Kipnis, 3 for 7 in this series, including his 8th home run, to up his average to .271 overall.
Kennedy's going to use that fastball to then bring in his other pitches as usual. Most guys do. He throws 63% of fastballs, 16% with changeups and curves and sliders. Slider's been the pitch that's been hit the most by the opponents. And 462 is the number against his slider they've been hitting. But all the starters love pitching here. Big ballpark, not afraid to challenge hitters with the fastball.
Kipnis skies it in the air. Looks like same ball player's going to make it, and it's Colon for out number 2.
There's a little breakdown of the pitches. Talked about the 213 on the heater. That's good because that's the pitch he uses most of. It's sneaky quick. Now he doesn't use a 2-seam fastball, but it does at times move like a 2-seam fastball, which is in on righties, away from lefties.
He's been hurt the most on his slider, 462 average.
Right.
Why?
Leaves it out over the plate, gets whacked up here.
Here is Lindor, who has amazing numbers against Kansas City, 400 in his career and 17 for 34 this year. He had 3 hits last night.
Amazing how quickly this young man has adapted to Major League Baseball. He's got a very similar stance from the left side as he does the right side, almost identical. So there's not a lot of thinking going on. He just reacted. Stays inside the ball, sprays the ball all over. Anything soft up, he'll pull it out.
And I would imagine it's difficult to maintain a good balance and consistency from both sides of the plate.
It is. Especially since you're getting more at bats from the left side of the plate against righties, more righties.
Kennedy works upstairs, and the count is full, 3-2. Lindor has walked 22 times this year. This is his second year in the big leagues, but first full season as he was called up last year about this time. And outside, ball 4. Now Mike Napoli, who's been quiet in this series, just 0 for 7 with a couple of strikeouts. And he has struck out in each of his last 13 games.
Napoli, excellent low ball hitter, feeds off of breaking balls that are down there, and that's exactly where starting pitchers try to put that pitch. In this series, they've been pitching him belt high with fastballs, just like that.
Yeah, we saw Chris Young work him up in the strike zone early yesterday, and he was able to then throw that slider and get him to ground out into a first inning 5-4-3 double play, which was really big at the time, with Chris falling behind in the count. Needed to make a big pitch, and he did. 0-2.
That's where you like to live, on the corners.
Lindor goes. Pitch is swung on and just barely fouled off. Well, apparently he did not foul it off. And Butera comes back, tags Napoli, and gets the strikeout. That will do it for Cleveland in the first. Whit Merrifield has gone deep in back-to-back games. He'll lead off when we come back. Flourished in the leadoff role just in the past week, and he has upped his average to .326. Alcides Escobar hitting in the 2 spot, then Hosmer, Kane, Perez, Cuthbert. Ray Fuentes is in there, and he's played very well lately. And Christian Colon getting the start at second base with Butera catching. Here is tonight's mini Let's Motor player profile.
5 starts this year against the Central. He's getting the job done. 4-1 record. Look at that ERA, opponent's average. He's been tough, especially his last 2 starts. Man, in 15 innings pitched, he's only given up 2 earned runs, and the opponent's only hitting 102. If this guy's hitting his spots, it's going to be tough.
That last start you talked about, Hud, that was against the Angels, and through his 2nd complete game of the year and 9th of his career, gave up just 2 runs in 9 innings, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Merrifield takes down low, 2-0. There is that line through 114 pitches, and he's pitched at least 7 innings in 8 of 13 starts.
Yep, he's a horse, no doubt. Cy Young Award winner.
He'll throw both that 2-seam fastball and the 4-seamer. Merrifield fouls it back on the sinker.
We're going to give you the pitches right now, Fizz. Check it out. This guy's got a lot of them. Sinker, 4-seam fastball, cut fastball, curve, changeup. And he does that by applying finger pressure on that ball to get it to sink. And the 4-seamer upstairs, the cutter. Ball's moving.
They say he had great command of 4 of those 5 pitches against the Angels and through the complete game. But how often does a pitcher have command of 4 of his pitches?
Well, not very often. So he's going to figure out which one's working that particular night. And you hope to get the guy early, but while he's trying to see which one's working. This is when the most damage is done.
Witt goes to center field, and that ball will drop, and Merrifield stays hot. He now has a base hit in 21 of 23 major league starts. Pretty darn good.
That's right. You know, when the Royals score first, they're 27-7, so they're well on their way now. If they can just get him on, get him over, and get him in. That's a pitch that's away. Now, in order for Kluber in his last few outings to have success, he's got to be able to pitch inside to the righties and lefties. He's got to come in there and knock them off the plate, because he does a lot of his work on the outer half of the plate. And so showing him that inside fastball is backing him off.
Speed guy at first, guy who can handle the bat at the plate. Is this an action situation? Steal, hit and run?
See if Eske can water the garden out in right field.
Swings and misses, strike one. Eske just 7 hits in his last 52 at bats. Dropped that average to 244. The bunt is down. Martinez is the third baseman. His throw is in time, and Merrifield scoots to second base. Let's check out that Cleveland defense.
Young man who just made the play, Michael Martinez. First started third base in his 12, but look, this guy, he's a Whit Merrifield. He can play anywhere you put him. Good athlete. 6 different positions this young man can play. Don't put him at first base because he's not 6 feet tall. It's a little bit harder and a tougher target to throw, but he's an impressive young player.
Now Eric Hosmer, 2 for 7 in the series. And he cracks this one into right center field. This will easily score Merrifield. The Royals take a 1-0 lead on Eric Hosmer's double.
Love to hear the sound of that bat cracking. That's a really good sound, especially trying to come inside. He missed. Haas, first swing of the afternoon. He hit the mistake. Split the gap. Picked up that ribby, and that's exactly why he's in that 3-hole. 39th RBI. Merrifield can cruise on this one.
You said earlier the Royals are 27-7 when they score first, and they are up 1-0 on Hosmer's 13th double this year. Leads the club in RBIs as well. Kane now the batter. And Lorenzo has gone 11 games without an RBI, but Ned Yost confident having him in that 4 spot. He's been cleanup all 3 games of this homestand.
0 for 8 in the series. He's ready to check in.
Down to the count 0-2. That's their man.
Now with 2 strikes, we've noticed Lorenzo, he'll shorten up at times, and he has a little spot out there that they call the Locaine Triangle. It'd be a nice place to put it right here.
A little bit low, 1-2.
It's been a tough month so far for Lorenzo, hitting just .217. No extra base hits already this month. He'll get her going.
Yeah, he had just come off a stretch where he was so hot, drove in 24 runs in a 20-game stretch, but none the last 11. Fights that one off, stays 1-2.
Coming in hot. That fan tried to catch that line drive from Haas. From off of Kane's bat just then, and man, he shook his hand like it hurt. You better believe it does. It hurts when you got a glove too, sir.
Almost got Sal Perez. And Lorenzo, you know what fun friends they are. Lorenzo Cain and Salvador Perez, and Sal now takes his helmet off and turns his back on his buddy.
Yeah, he's DHing today, and he's saying, you know what, I'm going to stay away from foul tips because I'm not catching, but they wouldn't expect him to get hit by a foul ball. Lorenzo, he's fighting the close ones here. See if
now Sal back way off, back to the screen.
See if he gets a mistake here.
He does, down that left field side. Here comes Hosmer with the game's second run, and Lorenzo with his first double in a long time.
There it is, that first extra base hit. We knew it was close, and especially when you foul off that many pitches, you're getting more confident each time you swing, and you're telling yourself he's going to make a mistake, and I'm going to stay short to the ball, and I'm going to get him. And that's exactly what he did. Just pounced on it. It's hard to sneak a piece of cheese by a hungry rat. And Locane said, I'm trading places with Haas.
A single, a sacrifice, then back-to-back doubles. Now one of the hottest hitters in the Royals lineup, Salvador Perez, with a 6-game hit streak, 12 for his last 24. Lifts that one foul, back and out of play. Well, we did have El Nino out in California, but it's in Kansas as well.
Kubota Power Stats is going to show you Salvador Perez with the American League catching ranks. Better believe it. Look at it. He's the best. One of the reasons that he has the most votes of any other All-Star.
He's DHing tonight, but that's okay. They want to keep his bat in there. Fights that one off as Kluber came in on his hands. 0-2. It was interesting. Ned Yost, when Sal got up in that 8th inning, he said, I had a good feeling. I just liked the situation, the way the game was progressing, and we had the right guy up at the right time.
And Shaw, with that cut fastball, just made a mistake. And see, the whole thing is when a pitcher makes a mistake, you try to get it, but lots of times you don't. And there it was there. Ooh, man, I'll take that one. Looked like that was right down the middle.
Wow, that was just above the belt.
It looked like a pretty good pitch there, and a good one to hit. Ramon De Jesus is behind the plate tonight. First time behind the plate here in Kauffman Stadium.
Salvi swings and misses on the curveball and strikes out. So that's 2 outs now in the first inning.
He pulled the string and it stayed in the middle. Salvi just swung over the top of it.
And you mentioned Ramon De Jesus. I want to remind our fans, stay with us because Joel Goldberg has a very interesting story on this young catcher. This young umpire, as Cheslor Cuthbert steps to the plate, hitting .277. Ball 1.
Cuthbert with a nice little 4-game hitting streak. See if he can add to it here in the first.
Kluber has already thrown 21 pitches. How about that hat? Not sure if it's a rally hat or just an odd hat. I think it's a get me on TV hat. He threw him a slider on a 2-0 count.
He did, and that was a typical 2-0 swing by a big league hitter. Try to do some damage with it. If you've seen a few pitches, you look out there and you try to find a hole. Stay short with your swing, put it in play, and see if they can get another one.
Cuthbert grounds to short, and Lindor will throw out Cuthbert, but the Royals get 2 runs in the first inning. Bats are hot.
Yeah, they are. Keep the line moving. That's right. Royals fans got that T-shirt last night, and it's working tonight.
away from Scotland for a Royals W. Hopefully KC will hang one at the end. It's 2-0, and Kennedy has the lead as he begins his second inning of work, facing Carlos Santana, Lonnie Chisenhall, and Yan Gomes. Starts him off with a curveball for strike one. Santana belted his 13th home run of the year in this series. He's also walked 3 times. Pops are up. Foul territory. Hosmer. 1 out. The Royals did make a roster move today. Kansas City designated for assignment Omar Infante, the veteran second baseman, and recalled Brian Flynn, a left-hander from the minor leagues. 5 games with Kansas City. He had a 4.9 ERA, but Omar with a year and a half left in his contract. And now he is out, and really it's up to Merrifield and Colon to run that second base position.
Yeah, you know, if you're Colon and Merrifield, you know, you're happy that the organization has that much confidence in you that they could let an established world champion veteran like him go.
Foul back. And it was interesting listening to Dayton Moore today, Hud. He said, you know, when Omar got hit in the face a couple of years ago, he wonders if that changed him a little bit.
Well, you better believe it does. It changes a hitter, any of them that get hit up there, and it makes you a little gun shy. But look, didn't keep him from helping this team get to the mountaintop. He should be proud of what he's accomplished here. And it's always tough, you know, when you have to send a guy out like that with all that money owed to him. But you know, that happens in baseball.
But he helped this team get to back-to-back World Series.
Had a nice conversation with Escobar before the game today, about 10 minutes, sitting there asking him about Omar and what he meant to him. And Esky said that guy, I learned so much from him. More mental stuff, like, you know, he never pouted. He never got upset when he wasn't playing. Or when the fact that last year after that 6-for-6 game or whatever he had in Cleveland, that was the last time he played. He didn't play the rest of the World Series or any of it. He never complained, Escobar said, and that's helped him understand that when things don't go your way in a game you can't control, don't pout. Don't spread any poison in the clubhouse. Be a good guy. Be a professional. Those things go a long way.
So Christian Colon, a former first-round pick, gets a crack at second base. Merrifield has played that position the last 2 nights, and he'll move around. And boy, the coaching staff, Ned Yost, love Merrifield and that versatility. That was the other thing about Omar. He could only play one position. Chisenhall lines one softly into left field for a 1-out single. And let's listen to what Dayton Moore had to say about designated for assignment Omar Infante.
At the end of the day, it's if we're going to play Colon and we're going to play Merrifield and we've got other options, it's not fair to Omar. It's not fair to the other 24 players on the roster. It's not fair to Ned and the coaching staff. It's not fair to our fans. And ultimately, I'm accountable for those decisions, Flanny.
That's right. He's the boss. He deserves the credit when credit's due, but then when something like that happens, he's not afraid to stand up, say I'm accountable. I like that. Tells a lot about the general manager that the Royals have here.
And Rex, quite frankly, the Royals needed that 8th member of the bullpen. They needed the 13 pitchers, 5 starters, and the 8 relievers. Dylan G obviously not available tonight after going 3 innings last night. To third, Cuthbert goes second, 1, first base, 2.
Keep those lane balls coming. Wow. Starting pitchers just loving this action behind them.
1-0. In tonight's game, we are participating in the Home Run Challenge to benefit prostate cancer research. So far, after 2 days this week, nearly $360,000 has been raised. You can make a pledge by going to homerunchallenge.org. And here is Ray Fuentes. He was recalled on June 1st. All he's done since is hit 500. Well, he rolls that one up the middle, but Kipnis will cut it off. And Ray is safe as the throw is a bit wild by Kipnis.
Now, the way that guy runs, it was going to make it close at first base, but this is a routine play for a big leaguer. He just missed with the throw. So only his second error of the season. He's very trustworthy with a glove in his hand. He's shaking his head now, especially after talking with Terry Francona today. Tito said we have to do the little things well to beat this Royals team. That's what he's talking about.
Here is Christian Colon. He has upped his stock the last few games. A .455 average with a run scored. He played those 3 games against the White Sox, but sat that bench in the first 2 games of this series. Well, that was a tough curveball, and he was feeling for it with that swing.
Yeah, Colon typically very patient. He's not afraid to look at pitches, take pitches. That lady there, she's got that device. There's that hat for TV. Mustache. But normally a little bit selective. He likes to hit the ball to right field. And you know, Colon, he understands what's going on. He sees Merrifield, but he is also seizing his opportunity. And when your defense plays you straight up, that's a compliment, because look at his hits. That's right. Pretty evenly distributed.
And it seems like Corey is pitching for the double play. His defense has turned 9 behind him. And that one is cut off by Martinez and dropped. So back-to-back errors by Cleveland in the second.
On the transfer, no problem. The young player Martinez has excellent range, and you can see this. A lot of third basemen, they're not known for their range. This young man here only forgot one thing: find the handle. Third base gloves are bigger. Okay, you need a bigger glove on that side of the diamond, especially at third, because it's the reaction position. The ball's hit so hard, and sometimes when you're a guy who plays all over, you're not quite used to that big glove. It's hard to find the ball in it sometimes.
Drew Butera.
I bet he bunts.
He does, and he gets it down. They are going to first because Martinez had come down the line, and they did not have the wheel play on with Lindor covering third.
Well, that's a play that they call depending on what they think is going to happen. That's why the importance of Butera to get that bunt down first pitch is always good. That way it doesn't give him time to think about what you're going to do. Look at that technique. Perfect. Knees bent. I like the fact that he was waiting for that ball to come, and he just wants to get it down. And see, Martinez, the third baseman, he's responsible for anything in front of him, so he had to vacate the bag.
Time for our Toyota League leaders with Whit Merrifield. He has the highest batting average since May 18th. That's when he was recalled from the minor leagues. A .333 average. Mazara's having a terrific rookie year for Texas, right behind him. Corners are in. Two years ago, Cleveland had the most errors in baseball with 116. Francona wanted to change that dramatically, and he did last year. But this year, 2 in this inning, 36 for the season. Merrifield pops it up and fires the bat away in anger. 2 out.
Yeah, Merrifield would have liked to come through, but let's check out for a teaching moment about bunters. All right, freeze it, hold it right there. Look at the back leg. Back leg is bent, front leg is bent, but look at his eyes. His eyes is looking for the ball. The barrel of the bat is up. That's what you want. You want all that to stay down low And you can, and then when you bend your knees down low that way, that leaves that high pitch alone. You can't get that down. So when you're bent down low like that and you see that high pitch, you just pull the bat back. Excellent technique there by Butera.
Now the Royals hoping for a 2-out clutch base hit by Escobar, who has driven in 17 runs this year. He dropped a sacrifice bunt in the first inning, which led to a run. Hosmer then doubled in Merrifield. Strike one.
You want to make it hurt, especially those errors. 2-out hit would be nice, especially for Escobar, who's been struggling. 241 hitter with runners in scoring position.
0-2. I know you talked to Escobar a little bit about his swing before the game.
I did. He told me he's going to try to shorten up a little bit. We're trying to swing for the fences.
Tries to roll that one down the line and just barely sent it foul.
Yeah.
Needed about another 2 feet to have a double and 2 RBIs.
That's what he's talking about. He says he swings hard early in the count sometimes to try to drive one, and then once he gets 2 strikes, try to work it. Now Dale Swaim's talking with Butera. Probably about the situation. We've been seeing a lot of sacrifice bunts by the Royals in this series, so they're trying to do the little things to advance the runners. Low scoring games with first place on the line early in the season.
He hooked that one down the left field line.
Yeah, that was a mistake out over. Gomes wants to go talk with Kluber about that. Say, hey, look, we've already made a couple mistakes in the first inning. You can't leave that up there. I don't care who's hitting. And Escobar was just a tad out front.
Particularly on an 0-2 count. You want to make the mistake below that strike zone.
Even though Kluber's had some really good success even early this season against the Royals, they know they can get to him. 2015, they busted him. They had 4 wins against a Cy Young Award winner.
First time a reigning Cy Young Award winner was beaten 4 times the following year. Heskey swings and misses on a fastball and strikes out. So the Royals do not take advantage of the Cleveland mistakes. legacy seat, and Joe has participated in Special Olympics Missouri for 34 years, having received the gold medal at the 1995 World Games for gymnastics and being named the Special Olympics Missouri Athlete of the Year in '96. Currently competing in basketball, bowling, softball, and golf, Joe also finds the time to volunteer in the community, including at his church and with the Knights of Columbus. How about that? Way to go, Joe.
Yes. Joe McGuire, congratulations on getting to sit in the Buck O'Neil seat.
He's proud.
You're a heck of an athlete, young man. Way to go.
Did you know that he was inducted into the Kansas City Sports Walk of Stars alongside the great Buck O'Neil?
No wonder he's excited. Got a nice little smile there. Joe, way to go. Glad you're here. That's firing me up.
Here's Tyler Naquin. 1 for 8 in this series after scalding the Royals in Cleveland with 6 hits and 3 home runs. Bangs that one down the right field line, but all it will do is even the count, 2-2. 25 years old, out of Spring, Texas. Plays college baseball at Texas A&M.
All those good baseball teams in the South. Weather's good. Sports meant to be played in the nice, dry, warm climate. Good fastball away. Good runner.
Well, fans, make sure you come to the K this Saturday for the Kendrys Morales 2015 ALDS bobblehead. Arrive early as the first 20,000 fans. Look at Kendrys shaking his head there. And they get the item. And all of the bobbleheads commemorate special moments from the 2015 championship run. Make sure you collect all 5. Visit Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. I have a feeling Saturday is going to be tough tickets, so call now. Online to Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS. Michael Martinez, the veteran. You talked about him, Hud. He's already played 6 positions this year.
Yep. He's a very nice player to have. Switch hitter, bunts.
Tough play. Colon barehands throws, and it's a little bit over the head of Eric Hosmer, and he'll get second base on Colon's error. So it'll be a base hit and an error when that ball went into the Royals dugout.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about his bunting ability. He's very comfortable bunting. He's got good speed. Look at him. He's hustling. That's a good way to get hurt, though. See how that left hand tucked up underneath there. Those head first slides at first base. Not advisable.
Now they're changing the error to Eric Hosmer and not Colon because the ball clipped off Hosmer's glove, so it's base hit E3. I wonder if Hos just peeked down for a moment to see where Martinez was.
No, he was looking at the play all the way. I mean, Hos, I don't know how he missed
I just
that.
wasn't sure.
Yeah, no, it's a lot to concentrate on over there at first base when that guy's making the play. You got to be watching that ball and watching where he's going to throw it. And then you try to put your foot on the inside part of that base so you can give that base runner all that room to touch the bag. Okay, Haas is watching him, and he just couldn't gauge it. I don't think he threw it too hard. It happens. Hosmer just spoils everybody. That's one of the greatest first basemen the game has seen in a long time, that young man right there. You kidding me? And believe me, he already has hit a nice double tonight when knocked in a run. And believe me, he's going to help this team a lot more than he's going to hurt them, that's for sure.
Kennedy now even with Davis at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Lower part of the zone, that's what Dave Island in spring training tried to emphasize with Ian Kennedy. Coming over from the National League, he got away with some high fastballs there, but you know, you got that 8 and 9 hitter the pitcher hits. So it's a little bit easier liner, a little softer lineup, so you can get away with that there more. But here in the American League, all 9 can hit. So you try to get him to focus a little bit lower in the strike zone. However, he's still going to execute his 4-seam fastball up at certain times.
His first 6 starts were really good with a 2.13 ERA.
Hello, sweetheart. Busy eating. She got a good seat out there in left field.
She's pointing in the wrong direction, though.
She's going to be a TV star. She saw the camera.
Count full 3-2 speed guy at second base in Martinez. Davis fights it off, and he's in a good battle with Kennedy, fighting off several tough pitches. He popped up to second base on the very first pitch he saw of the ball game. But now in a long duel with the Royals starter.
Davis, he's 5 for 10 to start this game against Kennedy. Now 5 for 11, 326 a hitter with runners in scoring position. Francona trying to jump start the offense a little bit. He's got the good speed. He's got the steals, the stealing ability.
Ian must have had his mind made up on what pitch or location he wanted to throw and wanted to make sure Drew was locked in with him.
Yeah, when in doubt, talk it out.
And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Came inside a little too far and clipped him on the elbow. So 2 on with 1 out.
It's the 3rd time he's been hit this year, Davis.
And Francona coming out with his head athletic trainer to check on Davis, who does not wear much protection on that left elbow.
And that's the 7th hit batter from Ian Kennedy this year. That's the most on the Royals pitching staff.
Well, that tells you he will pitch inside.
Yep.
So Davis will stay in, puts on that pot holder on his left hand. Stole a couple of bases yesterday.
It's not a pot holder, Fizz.
He just looks like one.
He's not a chef.
He might be.
He's a base stealer, and that's called a sliding guard. Protect his fingers.
I tell you, it's hot enough to cook some cookies out there in that Kauffman Stadium parking lot. Here's Kipnis. Well, the Royals have turned 6 double plays in this series. How about 7?
Well, Kipnis, he's a lane ball candidate, no doubt about it. He's grounded into 10 this year. Lane ball, in case you haven't figured it out, is a baseball term for double play. You'll hear guys in the dugout encouraging their pitcher, put him in the lane, let's go.
Cleveland just 1 for 16 with runners in scoring position in this series. He struck him out. Went after him with that high fastball, and Kipnis is 0 for 2.
He's going to elevate when he feels like he can get a swing and miss. Got it right there in a big opportunity. 3rd strikeout on the evening for Ian.
Now another tough left-hander in Lindor, who walked his first time up, and we told you about how he has punished Kansas City this year, 17 for 34. But with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, he is still very young, just 22 years of age. And you know, we were talking with Dave Holtzman, who is our stats guy. when you're a young hitter, sometimes when runners are on, you don't slow the game down like you will when you gain that experience.
That's exactly right. Sometimes you'll take the pressure on yourself, and the pressure's really on the pitcher. And some guys, you know, his track record is well proven already in just his short year and a half in the majors. This guy can race. There's a beautiful family.
Just inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. That will get out of play. Advantage Kennedy, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
There you go, sir. Souvenir you weren't expecting before you walked in the gates here. Never know when you come to the ballpark. Oh, yeah. How about that? Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Here's the big pitch. A swing and a pop-up. On the infield, Chesler Cuthbert. Cleveland leaves 2 more. Kennedy, good job getting out of trouble in the 3rd. Inning, and tonight's broadcast of Royals baseball is being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces service around the world on land and ships at sea.
Yes.
And we thank you
very much for your hard work allowing us to come to the baseball park here in America. Thank you so much.
Rex, I've been emailing some soldiers in Afghanistan who are huge Royals fans from the central Missouri area, and they just so much enjoyed the success of the team. And then my nephew Luke Fiziak is here in Kansas City, and he served in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he has fallen in love with this team as well. He was texting me the other day, says, hey, how about that Whit Merrifield guy? I love that guy. He plays the game right.
It's a diversion for a lot of people with their tough work that they have.
Hosmer with a swing and a miss, 2-1.
You know, also people who are battling certain diseases, health issues, that are in hospitals, you know, they can't wait for the Royals to come on at 7 o'clock. They're so excited about what they possibly will witness. You never know. Especially in the 1st inning, when the Royals jump on an ace like Kluber, nice. Whenever you can get that, especially early. Haas. Lorenzo Cain got a mistake. Pounded it on that left field line. Double city. Changing places. It's always a nice thing. Ooh, good pitch there.
So Hosmer strikes out. That's number 3 for Kluber tonight. Cain with an RBI double and that 2-run first. Will be followed by Salvador Perez. Ball 1. Corey faced the Royals on June 5th and shut them out through 6 innings. That was the game that was delayed by rain, so Kluber didn't come back. He still did get the win, and he came into this contest with 6 wins and 6 losses. Good crowd on hand for the final game of this series. Snap that breaking ball in there to even the count at 2-2.
That's that slider stayed up. That was a good pitch. Lorenzo Cain's telling himself, I'd like to turn on that one.
Just barely low. Now the count is full, 3-2, but boy, he gets so locked in where when he misses, he barely misses.
Lorenzo did a nice job of checking the swing. Gomes wanting him to shake, try to get in the head of Cain.
They say he went, and Lorenzo is strikeout victim number 4 for Corey Kluber.
Yeah, he was all geared to hit a strike, and it wasn't a strike.
Now Salvador Perez. And I remember talking to Terry Francona a couple of years ago, and he said a year before Corey won the Cy Young, we were watching Kluber get better right in front of our eyes. And he said he was pitching with that pitch right there, the fastball, so aggressively it was opening up both sides of the plate and then making those off-speed pitches so dangerous.
You know, he has so much movement, late movement on his pitches that makes it effective. When it's coming up there around 92 miles an hour, he's going to sink it, cut it. He's got a slider, so he's got really excellent movement. Very few pitches he throws are straight.
Now he teases Salvador upstairs. The count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. His Cy Young season came in 2014, won 18 games and had 269 strikeouts and 235 2/3 innings.
Look at that guy. Now why are you laughing at Salvi? Took a foul ball off there with a very tender spot.
High fly ball center field. Naquin will make the catch, and the Royals are done 1-2-3 by Kluber. 2-0 KC.
At the K, and behind the plate, Ramon De Jesus, who made history earlier this season when he was called up from the minors and became the first ever Dominican-born umpire in the major leagues. He has worked his way up, been in the minors, still is, for quite a while. Had a chance to catch up with Ramon earlier in this series. Very humble, very appreciative of the opportunity. The verdict so far to this point on him is that he's a very good umpire. Said he grew up, guys, rooting for Dominican players like so many other kids on that island, with Pedro Martinez being his favorite, and he was from the same hometown as Sammy Sosa, and his family knew Sammy's family. So he wanted to be a baseball player, but he said he figured out pretty quickly, I'm not going to the major leagues. Got a scholarship for Major League Baseball to go to an umpiring school and started umpiring in the Dominican Republic, been in the Pacific Coast League, and here he is now, very proud to be representing his country as an umpire, and he says a lot of folks back at home are watching him.
Yes, way to go, Joel. Gotta get down there. These guys are all a big part of the game, just like the players are, and it's very difficult. Now, I got to meet him before the game because I knew you were going to do a special on him. I wanted to introduce myself to him, and you know, before he gave me any information at all, he looked at Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief, and said, "Is this guy okay to talk to?"
And Cedarstrom probably said no.
He said, "It's okay."
Strike three call. Mike Napoli has struck out for the second time, and Napoli will stay there and visit with the gentleman you talked to just hours ago.
Right on cue, Joel.
And he's got a great strikeout call. We especially like it when he's punching out the Indians. And that conversation, by the way, okay, that's universal language right there. That conversation, had it been, say, Carlos Santana, might have been in Spanish. That conversation in English, fully bilingual, very nice gentleman, mild-mannered, and we saw him just diffuse that situation.
Come on, Nappy, you got to go.
You know, I love the opportunities that Major League Baseball is providing, not only domestically but outside our country. Programs like that, building academies in the Dominican Republic, and of course our Urban Youth Academy here in Kansas City that broke ground downtown Kansas City, right behind the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Foul back. Good rip by Santana, who had a positive count at 2-0. He has 13 home runs, and 12 of them against right-handed pitchers. Well, the Royals defended him perfectly. Malone throws him out, 2 out. This season at the K, the weekend starts early because every Thursday home game is Buck Night. Come enjoy Royals baseball while saving some hard-earned cash. Enjoy delicious hot dogs and peanuts for just $1 a piece. Get your tickets now for Thursday Buck Nights by calling 1-800-6-ROYALS or go online at royals.com/promotions. And of course, our Buck Night is tomorrow night with the Detroit Tigers coming to town. Danny Duffy will be on the hill for KC. And he'll be opposed by Justin Verlander. Didn't miss by much. Chisenhall singled to left field his first time up. 4 for 7 in this series.
Very smooth delivery, great mechanics, always repeats them. He's very rarely off balance. You see how he gets his toe hold there, separates the hands above the rubber and right over the top. Good follow through. It's not off balance.
Back even with the count at 2-2.
Smooth.
Thank Ian thought that was strike 3, started walking off the hill. Well, it grazed the outside corner. Just barely missed. Fly ball right side. Ray Fuentes. Terrific inning, number 4 for Kennedy. Royals hold their 2-0 lead. Chevy. Visit your local Kansas City area Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. By Panera Bread, food as it should be with 24 Kansas City metro locations. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price, every day. There's George, great George Brett. Beautiful swing. They like Whit Merrifield right now, the way the kid has started his young Royals career.
Yeah. Whitley. He's a bad dude.
Well, we hope we'll see him. That means runners will be on because it's hitters 6, 7, and 8 to start things. Cuthbert, Fuentes, and Colon. Kluber has retired the last 6 he's faced. Royals got 2 in the first on a single, a sacrifice, and back-to-back doubles by Hosmer and Kane. Well, the last time he had a 2-0 count with Cuthbert, he threw him a curveball. This time he stayed with a fastball, and Chesler just did get underneath.
He had a rip.
It was a good breaking ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Good thing they got those 2 runs early off of Corey Kluber, because when you get an ace like him and he settles in, starts executing his pitches, him and Yan Gomes, his battery mate, there's be tough to beat. Can't miss the mistakes. That's not a mistake there. That's a good pitch.
5 strikeouts now for Kluber. Trying for our sprint trivia question. Name the 3 non-American League Central pitchers to win the Cy Young in the last 10 seasons. You know, the guys who have won it from the Central: Justin Verlander, obviously in the past, who won pitching's Triple Crown for the Detroit Tigers, and he'll be pitching against our Royals tomorrow night. And that's our Thursday Buck night here at the K. Danny Duffy has been so hot for KC. Will go. Fuentes shows bunt, pulls it back, but it was a strike. Ray reached on the error by the second baseman Kipnis, his first time up.
So with Fuentes and Colon coming up in this inning here, both hitters are being defended the exact same way, straight up.
Two balls, two strikes. That time a fastball count and a changeup.
Infield instructors, they go by the hit charts. They have spray charts that people keep for them, and it has lines all over the park and all over the diagram, and it shows where they hit fly balls and ground balls.
He has struck out 4 of the last 5, actually 5 of the last 6 Royals that he's faced. The Royals alumni batting practices at Kauffman Stadium are back. You can come join Royals alumni as you take batting practice on the field. The cost is $300, and you receive a t-shirt and shorts along with a baseball autographed by the alumni who attend. You must be 25 years or older to participate, and the dates are July 16th and July 17th. It's from 8 in the morning until 11 in the morning. Call 816-504-4150 to sign up today. And if you're looking for something to give your father for Father's Day, which is this Sunday, why not alumni batting practice? They have a blast.
That's right.
He's going to get a pitch to hit. You know that with our strike throwers.
Getting close to Father's Day here. Folks out there wondering what to get Dad. That's batting practice on the field would be great.
Roll to Kipnis. Colon is out, so are the Royals. It's 2-0 KC on a hot night at Kauffman Stadium.
For the 5th Premier Mazda game break takes a look at the last team the Royals faced and the next team they'll face. And Chris Sale gives up the 2-run homer just over Adam Eaton's glove to Jose Iglesias. Mike Aviles was on base. Tigers had the lead. White Sox just cut it to 3-2. Ian Kennedy back on the hill. Chris Medlin on the hill tonight, as we see in our University of Kansas Hospital injury report. And guys, some good news as the Royals continue to get healthy here. Alex Gordon took batting practice today, was crushing the ball. He's getting closer to going out. And Medlin in the rehab start tonight with Northwest Arkansas. 2 innings, no hits allowed, no runs. 5 strikeouts, no walks on 43 pitches. Also should tell you that Mike Moustakas, back from that ACL surgery that he had from Dr. James Andrews down in Florida, is going to head back to Pensacola, Florida, to Andrews' facility there and work out with their rehab guy for about the next 3 weeks. Said he really hit it off well with him, 4 or 5 hours a day. Felt like he's really doing well. Almost on week 4, he felt like at this point. He's not moving the schedule up when he returns, but very pleased with his early progress.
And Joel, that could be like making 2 important trades for Kansas City this year. Not talking about Moustakas, but Alex Gordon coming back. I mean, he was crushing the ball into the fountains today, and that's a good sign, getting Gordo back, and also Chris Medlin. Medlin out the last month plus, and no walks, 5 strikeouts. Obviously ball moving, and the Royals looking for starting pitching.
Be nice to see him get strong, take this time that he's been off to get everything right.
Here is Tyler Naquin, struck out swinging first time up, and he strikes out swinging second time up. 5 for Kennedy.
Like how Kennedy's using that fastball like he normally does. This is a good sign that he's on. All of his strikeouts tonight, all on that pitch.
Rex, does it look like he's working down in the strike zone early, and when he needs to, elevating that fastball to get that, usually on 2 strikes?
Yeah, he'll elevate, but we're seeing him use the outer half of the plate with great effect.
Like right there, went down in the strike zone, inside corner, gets ahead, strike 1. His best season was with Arizona in 2011, won 21 games, and then he raises his eyesight, gets a swing and miss.
Remember, when you use all 4 quadrants of the strike zone with that fastball, hitters are knowing it's coming, but being able to locate it and staying out of the middle is the key.
Martinez pops up left side. Cuthbert, does he have enough room? Oh, did not.
Yeah, that corner that causes some issues at times with first baseman and third baseman.
Yeah, he slammed into there earlier in the year.
You gotta,
banged his hip.
It's too bad. Kennedy wanted that out. Sometimes you'll have time when you're going over there to take a peek or 2 down to where you are, and I'll try to avoid that corner. Glad he's all right.
Kennedy ready with the 0-2 pitch. Hosmer has it in fair territory and dives to the bag, and Martinez is safe. Now Kennedy broke late for the bag, thinking that Hos was going to have it all the way.
Second infield hit by Martinez, and there's no substitute for speed. Young man is playing for his life. He's a lot like Paulo Orlando. This is his 12th season in professional baseball. He's just in his 3rd major league season. And Haas definitely should have given it up. It beat him. Martinez beat him by plenty. Ian was there.
Now Davis, who popped up to second base his first time up and then hit by a pitch on a 3-2 count.
With Eric Hosmer, as rangy as he is, and he takes a lot of these himself, 3 unassisted, some pitchers just automatically think that he's going to be able to get him. But you could tell Kennedy was not there. He got a late break off the mound, and he's telling himself that Hos did all he could do. But you got to credit the runner, Martinez, for that. I talked about this guy had over 3,000 minor league at bats. He's a guy like Merrifield, and who's confident, who's ready, who's been Had a couple of cups of coffee with the Philadelphia Phillies early in his career, but he's making the most of it. Might get a start once, twice a week.
Royals don't appeal as Davis was able to hold up on that breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Royals lead it 2-0, getting both runs in the first on a single by Merrifield, a sacrifice by Escobar, and back-to-back doubles by Hosmer and Kane. He had Martinez down in the count 1-2. Has Davis now down in the count the same.
Uh-oh.
Davis bangs it deep, and that's trouble and gone. We are tied.
A couple of small things that weren't done that would have prevented that tie game shot right there. His ball was down. Rajai Davis, he just went down and got it. Got up underneath it. Good swing. Kennedy not covering first base. Cuthbert couldn't quite get around the corner of the dugout suite. And there's the Indians taking advantage of that.
Now Kipnis up. He takes strike 1. Royals fan who caught that home run ball. Another 1-2 count. The inning started innocently with Gomes flying out and Naquin striking out. Martinez then reached on the infield hit, and on a 1-2 count Davis went deep.
Had a chance to talk with Kipnis before the game today as he was relaxing in the clubhouse, and I asked him, what's it like this year playing against the Royals? He said, same guys, same team, tough to beat, relentless. You know they're going to attack, you just don't know when. Last night we thought we had them. They busted them late. This is never a break against them.
Here's another bolt to right field, and backing up is Fuentes, and he drops the baseball. So mistakes aplenty in this 5th inning by Kansas City.
You'd like to have that one back. He got back to the wall, had plenty of time. Might have misjudged it, took his eye off it. And that's why you want to try to catch the ball at its highest point. Whenever you're down below your shoulders and you try to make a catch, it's hard to see it all the way in from that down position. And he knows.
So an error charged to Ray Fuentes, and Kennedy having to throw more pitches. Probably 10 more, since Royals did not make the play on Martinez. Lindor takes strike 1. Francisco is walked and popped up. He was up with a runner in scoring position with 2 outs in the 3rd and popped up to 3rd. He's up with a runner in scoring position now in the 5th inning in a 2-2 ball game. Kennedy at 84 pitches. That's the left center field. Whit Merrifield will make the catch, but Ian Kennedy had to throw an additional 12 pitches after they did not get Martinez at first base. City, Cleveland tying it. A 2-run home run by Rajai Davis. Hosmer and Kane went back-to-back RBI doubles in the first to give the Royals the lead, and Kennedy has allowed 2 runs in his 5 innings of work. Steve Physioc, Rex Hudler. Now we're joined by the Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. And Monty, at the beginning of the game during your pregame, you were kind of talking about the starting pitches. Can you give us a breakdown of what you've seen from both?
Yeah, early on, Kluber made some mistakes, and the Royals took advantage of them. And I think now looking back to the Indians' 5th inning, just that one mental mistake Ian Kennedy made has cost him 2 runs.
Yep. And you can't give a guy like Kluber too many breaks.
Yeah, you hate to see an ace like him really get settled in. I thought there was maybe another opportunity or two to score some of those earlier runs. Didn't happen. He bared down and got out of those innings.
He's been really good with his slider tonight off the plate. He's made a few mistakes over the middle. Royals haven't been able to capitalize in the last few innings.
He's retired 9 in a row and has not allowed a hit since the first inning, that double by Kane. And now Butera goes right center field. Naquin broke bat, now comes in, and the ball gets by them. And Butera racing for second base. He'll hold there with a double. It looked like Naquin took 2 steps back, Hud.
Yeah, he sure did. He misread it. That's the second time in the series an outfielder has given one of the Royals an extra base hit on misjudgment. And with Butera not known for his power, Naquin has got to be shaking himself. First of all, take a few steps back, but he was deep initially, too deep. So in this big ballpark here, it sometimes can cause outfielders issues. They really got to keep their eye on the bench and look for the instruction on where to play. So maybe they can move him, get him on, get him over, get him in. Now with Merrifield up, he's a good bunter, but too many sacrifice bunts. They got to try to score that run with a swing. Monty, what do you think?
Well, you hate to give a pitcher like Kluber free outs, and that's exactly what you're doing. You have to look at the situation when you really need it, but I like to take as many shots at a guy like him as I can.
Oh, wow. He almost got it over the first baseman Napoli's head, but Mike leaped high to take a base hit and a run away from the Royals.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about there. They're go ahead and try to knock him in with an out instead of just moving the runner. That had a chance right there. It wasn't hit all that hard. If it gets over Napoli's head, it's a pretty good chance Butera could score from there. Although he's going back to the base, I don't know if he would have scored.
That's true.
Got to see that ball in, see it down.
Now Escobar, who was sacrificed and struck out with 2 on.
Thing about Escobar is pitchers are going to pound him inside. They want him to try to pull the ball. You know, he hasn't homered, and so they know he doesn't have he's not a home run threat. And if they miss out over the plate, he's going to doink them the other way. So they're trying to pitch him in. And he realizes that's why he's been taking some big swings here recently.
Just off the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Kluber, a starting pitcher who's really known for pitching inside very, very effectively. If you look at the Hosmer double and a Kane double in the first, both pitches were supposed to be in. Those were those mistakes I was talking about.
And how about Escobar using Omar Infante's bat? Way to represent Omar. Esky, the best way you could use that bat right here would be get a go-ahead RBI. And we know how Omar liked to turn on those fastballs. We'll see if Esky can do it with his lumber.
They will move Butera to third base, but 2 outs now for Eric Hosmer. And now you wonder if Terry Francona will even pitch to the left-handed batter. He has walked him 5 times, and Mickey Callaway will come out for a discussion with Corey Kluber. And Monty, are you thinking that that might be the case with the right-handed swinging Kane next?
Well, he may be asking him what his preference might be, but I think Kluber, being the gamer he is and the ace that he is, he's going to want to go right at Eric Hosmer. But he'll be smart. He'll be intelligent about the way he approaches him.
Yeah, and there was no conversation between Francona and Callaway before he went out. I was watching him, and he just turned to Callaway and said, go talk to him. So normally there's a conversation if they're thinking about walking a guy.
Francona walked Hosmer 4 times in Cleveland and once thus far in this series.
You can see how tougher Kluber gets as he gets deeper in the lineup and in the game.
Hos drove in his 39th run back in the first. Went after him with a fastball, 91 miles an hour, fouled off strike 1. Eric's the one guy who has shown power against Kluber. Batting average may not be that high, but he has 3 home runs and, of course, the double tonight. Behind the count, 0-2.
Yeah, Oz been good in situations like this whenever he's facing the same pitcher 3rd time through. 4-0-4. Now with 2 strikes, Hosmer is a very good hitter with 2 strikes. He shortens up. He finds those holes to the opposite field. He's got more hits to left field than any other field.
Butera at third. That's probably where he wanted that pitch that he threw Hosmer back in the first inning that wandered over the middle of the plate. He struck to right center field for a double. It gets away. Here comes Butera. The Royals take the lead on a wild pitch. This seems to be a game right now. Who takes advantage of whose mistakes?
Now, 4th wild pitch on the season, bounced well ahead. Now, a great backstop like Gomes was going to usually will smother that. However, he came up a little high, and sometimes you don't know where it's going to bounce.
And that ball hit so far out in front of the plate, it really should have been an easier ball to block, because he had plenty of room to stay. You know, if he stays down, that ball hits him right in the middle of the chest protector.
I agree. So they tried to guess wrong on the hop.
Hosmer. Nice play by Martinez on the backhand. But the ball not held on to by Mike Napoli, so Hosmer is safe and the inning will continue.
Yep, he earned that hit. That ball was well stroked. Martinez, outstanding reaction, good hands, did everything, but just couldn't get it to Napoli on the line. Napoli, didn't come up as a first baseman. He's got decent hands, but is way too tough to throw up the right field line.
I know Haas loves to get credit for a hit right there, but that's a ball, in my opinion, the big league third baseman has to make.
Yep. And that just ups his average over 400 in that 3rd time up facing that pitcher. He'll take it.
And we told you that Kennedy had to throw another 12, 13 more pitches in that last inning. And now let's see how many Kluber has to throw. Here's Kane, and Kane tries to drop one to right. In comes Chisenhall. Base hit. Hosmer all the way to 3rd. Sometimes, Monty, it's not the outs you make, it's the outs you don't make.
We have to take advantage of opportunities, and here the Royals Indians have 2 errors on the board tonight. Maybe going to take advantage of it again here. You never know what's going to happen. Just keep putting wood on the ball.
Yeah, and that's in that low cane triangle area, that's for sure. And that bat died a hero. See if they can keep the line moving here with 2 outs.
Well, that's the order they have them. Hosmer, Kane, and El Nino, which is Salvador Perez. And the first 2 came through with base hits. Perez with a 6-game streak. 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and pop-up. Ooh, way tight. Perez has to jump out of the box. He didn't like it.
He got his back.
That's right. Believe me, all these fans have the Royals players' backs as the Royals continue to win here with 8 straight wins at the K.
1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, that really wasn't a pitch that Kluber wanted to back him off the plate with, but obviously they don't want to pitch him anything out over the plate. Monty, he's dangerous.
Well, they saw the mistake that was made last night. You throw a pitch in the middle part of the plate, he's going to do some damage.
Better believe it. Salvador Perez in his 6-game hitting streak hit 500, so he's hot. You're going to be real careful with him.
First and third for Kansas City with 2 out. That's hit well. Deep center field. Naquin going back. It is gone.
The Royals defending their flag. Salvador Perez stays hot. No wonder Kluber doesn't want to give him anything out over the plate. He tried to brush him off inside, tried to keep that pitch away from him. Salvi with a big-time homer there.
The pitch gets right in the middle part. It got him extended. He went to the right part of the park, didn't try to pull that baseball, drives it in the middle. You never know what's going to happen. Nice warm night like tonight, the ball's carrying.
Oh, yeah. And that woke the fans up here as the Royals' chance of breaking out. Salvi firecracker hot, on the border and on the verge of becoming lava hot, Monty.
And that's good.
Yeah, it is. That's the hottest you can get.
And quite frankly, Kluber should be in the dugout, still tied at 2. His wild pitch scored the go-ahead run, and then they should have made the play on Hosmer by Martinez. He did not. It was ruled a hit, but it's a play a major league third baseman should make. Inning over. The inning continues. Hit, home run. 4 runs, and the Royals now have their biggest lead of the night against a terrific and hot pitcher. The outs you don't get. Kluber's last 5 starts, 4-1 record, 2.72 ERA. But tonight the Royals 6 runs, 7 hits. Cuthbert takes ball 4, and Kluber might be a little irritated right now. That's his first walk.
Maybe frustration might be the better word, but Salvador Perez in his last 7 games, 4 home runs, 7 ribbies. Lava hot.
Yeah, last night in the postgame you said, what did you call him? Red hot, but not yet lava hot. Now he is lava hot.
You better believe it. Put him in that extra category, Fizz.
He's going to have to head to Hawaii for the postseason celebration, for a vacation, visit the volcanoes. Long run for Martinez, and he won't get there.
Guys, Kluber's been really good on the road this year. And his 8 starts now here at Kauffman. Look at that, 1-3 with almost a 5 ERA.
It's hard to figure, Monty. Yeah, but he's missing too much to the plate. He's made several mistakes out over it. It's not like the Royals are hitting his pitches. He's just leaving them out there, and he's a little bit frustrated. After the Royals got swept after that 6 straight wins at the K, and they went there, you know, now we all know paybacks are a big part of baseball. Time is right.
Last year the Royals beat Kluber 4 times. Here it is, a beautiful evening in Kansas City. Sun setting in the west, and they have put 4 on the board in the bottom of the 5th. Kluber goes over, and getting back is Cuthbert. But I said earlier, it was the first time a reigning Cy Young winner was beaten 4 times the next year. He won it in 2014, and the Royals handed him 4 losses the following season, and he didn't pitch that poorly. Swing and a miss. Down goes Fuentes, and Kluber with a long inning had to throw a ton of pitches, now a total of 94. But Sal goes deep, a 3-run home run, and Kansas City goes from a 2-2 tie to up 6-2. It will be even sweeter if the Royals can get a sweep over the American League Central leading Cleveland Indians. And fans, we want you to know you can vote for the Royals Player of the Month at one of the 7 Rally House locations in the Kansas City metro area. All participants will be entered to win a majestic prize pack, and Salvador Perez certainly would be one of the leading candidates. And I'm sure Joel Goldberg would like nothing more than to be bear hugged by Salvador in post game and another Gatorade bath.
He was cool when he came to the set last night.
You know, he puts up with so much and is such a good sport about it. Here is Mike Napoli facing Ian Kennedy. Napoli struck out twice, once swinging, once looking. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Have you guys noticed the pace and the tempo that Kennedy's had out there tonight? It's been much better, I think.
Yeah, and what that appears in a body language game is he's confident.
Now Napoli with a shot to right center. Kane will run it down. Lorenzo Kane is the place where triples go to die. Man, he is something special.
Great jump. You can see him. He's playing Napoli to pull. So Napoli goes the other way. Lorenzo didn't have to downshift all the way. Now we know he's got 3 gears. All of them are fast, but didn't have to go into that top speed one.
There's a smash that Hosmer has. 2 outs.
So far in this inning, a few hang with 'ems. A couple balls hit really well. Mike Jershely and Rusty Kuntz having the infielders and outfielders played perfectly.
Be nice to see Ian Kennedy get another quick out, get another inning under his belt. Had his 13 extra pitches after the mental mistake he made not covering first in that last inning.
And then Corey Kluber had to throw 12 extra after the mistake by his third baseman Martinez. Now it was ruled a hit on the ground ball by Hosmer, but quite frankly, if Martinez makes the play and throws accurately, Hosmer is out and the inning is over. Swing and a miss by Chisenhall.
There's also Kluber's wild pitch.
Yep. You know, he is getting more swings and misses tonight than he certainly did in his last game. There was an interesting stat that our associate producer Dave Holtzman shared with us earlier. The White Sox made contact on 87% of swings out of the strike zone against Ian. What did that tell you?
Well, it tells me they had a good game plan. They were looking for pitches in certain locations and they were getting it and they were taking advantage of it. But this is a game of adjustments. I mean, from game to game, really, you have to make adjustments. Sometimes it's pitch to pitch, inning to inning, then it's game to game.
And that was 21% higher than Ian's season average. Chisenhall, high fly ball, left center. Whit Merrifield says he has it, and he does, and Kennedy with a good bounce back inning. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Royals by 4. Royals with a 6-2 lead over Cleveland. The sixth inning, of course, is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is James Carter from Independence. If the Royals hit a home run out of the yard in this inning, James will win $500. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, James gets $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Corey Kluber, this could be his last inning with 94 pitches already thrown. He'll face Christian Colon, Drew Butera, and Whit Merrifield, and there's a base hit to right field by Christian. So he's been on twice.
Well, you let this guy lead off an inning for you. He's magical. .453 on base percentage in his career. Fantastic job. Looking for a fastball going the other way. He's talking that ball down.
How about a sprint trivia question? American League Central has had a lot of Cy Young winners, including Corey Kluber. Name the 3 non-AL Central pitchers to win the Cy Young in the last 10 seasons.
Last 10. Bonnie, you got a good guess?
Oh, King Felix.
How about Dallas Keuchel?
Okay. I don't know if my guess is accurate, but Roy Halladay?
Did Jared Weaver had a great year one season, but I don't think he won. How about
No, Cy.
John Lester, Boston? No.
Oh.
There's a perfectly executed hit and run. Good job by Butera. He gets Colon all the way to third.
That's what you like to have at the bottom of your lineup. A couple of guys that can handle that bat. Drew Butera, he's on a tear. Coming in, hitting .273. That's his second hit of the evening. Doing his thing when he gets that once-a-week start. And just shortening it up, putting the ball in play on the ground to the right fielder. And that's how that play's designed. And Francona's got to come get him.
Dan Otero is our Chevy call to the bullpen. Leading 6-2, but the 2 guys on base belong to him. It's time for our sprint trivia question and answer. Felix, David Price was the other for the Tampa Bay Rays in 2012, and Dallas Keuchel, of course, 2015 for Dallas Keuchel. Now Dan Otero. Whit Merrifield, the batter. He singled his first time up. Then with runners on, popped up, and with runners on, lined out to first base on a leaping catch by Mike Napoli.
Just let him come to you. Sinker, slider, changeup.
Now he punches one past Napoli into right field. That scores. Christian Colon comes in with the Royals' 7th run.
When you have a mental approach as a hitter, thinking opposite field, and have the stroke that he's got by staying inside, keeping his hands inside, you could see that head position. It was really nice. And he's looking early in the count to do this. When runners in scoring position, that pitcher wants to get ahead of you, and Merrifield beat him. Inside jam shot, but it worked. His bat head stays level through that hitting zone for a long time, and that's why he's been able to have so much early success.
Now 1st and 2nd, and Escobar with a base hit. Butera will stop at 3rd base as Davis brings the throw in, and the Royals have him loaded and threatening to blow out Cleveland.
Well, Francona is not going to let Otero stay in for Hosmer. I can guarantee you that. Escobar, early swinging, early count swing, first pitch. Merrifield, Escobar looking to ambush Otero. They've been trying to pitch in Escobar in and been successful all series long.
Tom Gorzolani has been called out of the bullpen. He is our Chevy call to the bullpen. Line moving t-shirts last night, but tonight is the night they're keeping that line moving.
Yeah, you got to like it. 11 base hits on the night, some extra base hits, some long balls, a little package of about everything offensively. Hud, got to like it.
Oh, are you kidding? This is signature Royals baseball offensively. And going for the sweep. And the way they're pouring it on them. Don't stop now. There's nobody out. Bases are full of Royals.
Eric Hosmer up. Remember, this is a sonic slam inning. The bases are loaded. Tom Gorzolani's the pitcher. This is only his 4th big league game this year. And there is a smash. It glances off Kipnis. It will score a run. Hosmer is out.
Oh, man, talk about a shin burger. Pitchers usually get those, but infielders with those great hands, great soft hands, normally don't get a shin burger. But here's one. Check it out. Kipnis. A hard shot by Haas. Playing infield in. He got a one hop, and that was a no in-betweener. That was like a, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So he just tried to olay it. Oh, it's keeping that line moving.
Well, Haas got the RBI, his 40th of the year. Ball shot off the leg of Jason Kipnis.
You can't blame him for not wanting to pitch to Lorenzo Cain, who has a .392 average against left-handers.
Well, Salvador Perez has been one of the hottest hitters in baseball recently. And I know they want to set up the double play. but I'm not sure if I want to pitch to Perez right now. Jeff Manship has been warming, and I would imagine that's the guy who would pitch to Salvador. And yes, here comes Francona or Brad Mills. It's Terry Francona, and he will make the pitching change here with the Royals leading the Indians 8-2. Year, and why not vote for Salvador Perez? He has a ram drive of the game back in the 5th inning, 2-on. They pitched to him and hung one.
Yeah, got a 94-mile-an-hour fastball middle away, and he stayed with the baseball, went right up the middle, got a little air under it. Gotta like the result. Locane liked it.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Salvador now with a 7-game hit streak. 13 for his last 27. That includes 4 home runs. Bases are loaded. Manship is on. 2.79 ERA. He's more of a ground ball pitcher, and that's what Cleveland wants right here.
Yep, got a sinker, 88-94.
Strike one.
Go along with that slider. He's got a big curve too. He'll break out occasionally, but right here he's going to try to get Salvi out off the plate or try to pitch him in, but you leave anything out over to a guy who's lava hot, you're looking for the volcanic eruption.
Just does miss.
He's due. Time to take care of that 0, Salvi, and make some money for our Sonic Slam.
James Carter from Independence on pins and needles right now.
That's right.
Well, James, he hit it far, but he hit it foul.
James, you can sit back down now. Can you imagine if he knows, if he's listening to this game, he's on the edge of his seat. 25 grand.
Well, the ratings in Kansas City are pretty good for the world champs, so more than likely James is watching tonight. Oh man, a swing and a miss. Down he goes. So it'll be up to Cheslor Cuthbert. Cuthbert has grounded out, struck out, and walked. It's interesting on who started the last 2 rallies. Drew Butera with his double started the 5th inning. And then Christian Colon started the trouble in this inning. Bottom of the order, getting it done. Cuthbert belted 2 home runs in Chicago on Saturday. 2-0. Single by Colon, single by Butera, single by Merrifield, single by Escobar, a ground out that drove in a run, intentional walk and a strikeout. Did he go? Yes, he did. Now a 3-1 count.
Hey, right here, you're telling yourself as a hitter, don't get too excited and don't try to swing too hard, but just concentrate on that belt high fastball. See if you can put a good swing on it.
Outside, ball 4. And a run will come in as Merrifield checks in from third, and the Royals up their lead to 7 over Cleveland.
Rookie home plate umpire Ramon De Jesus doing a nice job back there. That ball could have went either way. Manship was hoping it went his way, but it's the Royals' night and the Royals series so far.
Ray Fuentes has reached in an error and struck out twice. Sends one out of play left side. Cleveland came in with a 3-game lead into Kansas City, but they lost the first 2 games 2-1, and the Royals with a marvelous comeback last night, 3-2 on Salvador Perez's 8th inning home run. Now they busted this one open and lead 9-2 in the bottom of the 6th. Kipnis will take care of this one, get the force, but the Royals get 4 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th. They now lead Cleveland 9-2.
Oh, that's exactly the kind of parting gift they wanted to give Kluber. On top 9-2, just like they like it. And just like we promised you early in the game, it's Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
Yeah, I'd get a like what we're seeing from Ian Kennedy tonight. I like his location. I like the life he has on his pitches, using the nice defense, getting those ground ball double plays. We've seen a lot in this series. Only blemish is the 2-run home run earlier, but so far so good for Ian Kennedy. Like the run support as well.
Ian Kennedy's line has really sharp tonight. 2 runs allowed in 6 innings of work. And remember, he easily could have thrown shutout baseball in 6 innings had he not failed to cover first base.
One mental mistake.
There's a good fastball, swung on and missed. Defensive changes. Whit Merrifield goes from left to right field as Gerard Dyson comes in the game, and Dyson will hit in Fuentes' spot. Shortstop Escobar. 1 out.
And I believe that this is the first time that we've seen Whitley Merrifield in right field.
Oh, we saw him there in spring training. He played everywhere.
Well, this is a big league game, Fizz. This is not spring training.
The only positions that he didn't play were pitcher and catcher, I think, in spring training.
And do you not think he could do those as well?
Probably.
There's Rusty. He's on him. He's got his eyes on him. All right, straight up. That's what that means. Yep. And no doubles. Thank you.
Tyler Naquin 0 for 2 facing Kennedy, both times striking out. It seemed like Monty first 2 times up, Ian worked him early in the count low and then struck him out up.
Yeah, and he has all the ability to go to different quadrants of the strike zone very effectively, and that's one thing that he's getting back to tonight. And I think that's one reason for his success we've seen tonight is ability to get to that upper part of the zone, be above the bats, and that's where we see him get a lot of swing and misses on his fastball.
Owen almost caught the inside corner but missed. It's a 3-1 count to Naquin.
So nice to have a cushion. That's what the home runs do. The run scoring, you know, he can go ahead and throw one down the middle here. Take his chances, and he missed off.
That's his second walk of the ball game, and you know, fans, nothing goes better with summer than fireworks and Royals baseball on a Friday night. You'll want to be here to experience all the fun. Summer fireworks are presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi and take place after every Friday night home game this season through August. Visit Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS today to get your tickets. And of course, Detroit's going to be in town. It's always a blast. Great series to attend. You have the Buck Night tomorrow night, and then Friday fireworks with Michael Fulmer throwing for Detroit and Yordano Ventura going for Kansas City. And of course, the Kendrys Morales bobblehead giveaway on Saturday. Michael Martinez twice with base hits, both times infield. The Royals have turned 6 double plays in this series.
It's third base umpire Jim Wolf down there giving that no swing sign. His brother, longtime left-hander Randy Wolf. I talked to him today with that gentleman right there, Jim Wolf. I asked him how Randy was doing. He said, Hud, he's retired, he got married, and he's looking to start a family.
Outstanding.
Yeah, congratulations. Well, he's in his 30s.
He made a comeback effort. Was it last year or the year before?
Yeah, it was a couple years ago. But, you know, he got 12 or 13 years in.
Yeah.
So he's blessed with a full pension.
And getting back in the count as Hochevar warms in the Kansas City pen. Kennedy right now at 107 pitches.
Hoch getting ready just in case he's got to throw that fireman's outfit on and come in and rescue.
That's hit pretty well. Right center field. And gone. So Michael Martinez hits his first home run of the year, and Kennedy gives up his second home run of the night, and Cleveland is within 5.
Mike Martinez having a perfect night at the plate. couple singles, and now that 2-run shot. This young man's making the most of his time. Now, we talked about it. With that big a lead, you can go ahead and do that, especially the number 9 hitter. You challenge him, and if he gets you, oh well. Still got a 5-run cushion.
Right in the 7th inning, I've noticed now that a lot of Ian Kennedy's pitches, maybe not with intent, but he's getting up in that upper part of the strike zone.
And now you turn the lineup over to Davis, Kipnis, and Lindor, who will be facing him for the 4th time. That was Michael Martinez's first home run since August of 2012. Wow.
Way to go, Mike. The opponents facing Kennedy for the 3rd time through are hitting .319 off of him.
And this is Davis' 4th time facing Ian. He's popped up and hit by a pitch and hit that home run in the 5th that tied it. You wonder if this will be the final batter. Hochevar has been warming and is ready to go down in that Kansas City bullpen. A couple of left-handers will follow. Outside 2-1. Even at 2-2. Struck him out. Here comes Ned. Job well done. And when you think about it, the job that Duffy, Ventura, Volquez, and Chris Young have done, allowing just 3 runs the last 24 1/3 innings as a starting pitcher, Kennedy, even though he gave up 4 and 6 2/3, job well done. Now it's time for tonight's T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball. Steven Strasburg has been outstanding. Got that big contract by Washington, trying to run his record to 11-0 today, but received a no decision. But Washington was able to win 5-4 in 12 innings on a walk-off. Meantime, here the batter is Jason Kipnis, and the pitcher is now Luke Hochevar with 2 out. Coach had last night off. He's pitched in 27 games already.
Yep, opponents aren't doing much. 198. Big overhand curveball he'll throw at times, but he likes that cut fastball and the straight 4-seamer.
Quality stuff. Really like him as a reliever. Like the way he comes in. No inherited runner tonight, but he's been incredible in straining those inherited runners.
Ned Yost does a great job of using his bullpen, knowing when to use guys, when not to. Of course, he gets the help of Dave Island, his pitching coach right there, who's a world champion 2 times with the Yankees and now with the Royals. These guys, they know what they're doing.
Swing and a miss. Kipnis is done. So are the Indians. They score 2, but the Royals still lead by 5.
And a lot of other action going on as Panera takes us around the league. San Diego doubling up Miami. Ichiro. Those are the Japan and MLB totals. Apparently they're not counting Pete Rose's minor league totals. All right, I'll move on. Colorado winning. Baltimore loses to Boston. And Chicago right now on top of Detroit. At Premier Mazda game break, we saw a red-hot Orioles team, but they have now lost 4 in a row. And that, or pardon me, 4 or 5, and that an absolute, no doubt, 3-run homer off the bat of Hanley Ramirez. Stephen Wright, the knuckleballer, wins his 8th in that one. Fizz?
Thank you very much, Joel. And here is Zach McAllister pitching in his 26th game. Big, tall right-hander will face Christian Colon, who sends one high in the air to right field. Lonnie Chisenhall, about 10 feet from the warning track, will haul it in for out number 1. Drew Butera has played big this year, and tonight he has a sacrifice. He has doubled, he has singled, he scored a couple of runs. This guy has 8 extra base hits this year, Hud. He only had 4 all last season.
Just call it seizing the moment.
Yep.
Riding the wave, shortening up his swing, making adjustments that you make in this game. Not trying to go up there and hit a home run. When you play once a week, your timing is off, but his has not.
And he filled in admirably when Salvador Perez was on the sideline with that quad contusion. Missed 6 games.
You know what? He took that lead role and he went after it.
Yeah, he was big in all 3 of those incredible comeback wins over the Chicago White Sox.
Sure it is. Drew Butera, he's arrived.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Having the privilege of catching the last pitch in a World Series victory is something special he'll never forget.
Catching that Wade Davis called strike 3. Well, he'll strike out here. There's 2 out here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. We want you fans to know that tomorrow the greatest golfers in the world converge on the historic Oakmont Country Club for the 116th U.S. Open Championship. Live coverage begins tomorrow on FS1 and continues through the final round on Sunday on Fox, or you can watch it all live on Fox Sports Go. Merrifield 2 for 4. And he hits that one pretty well. Davis back, reaches up, makes the catch, and Witt gave it a ride, but he will probably finish tonight 2 for 5. Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or call your local dealer today. 9-4 Royals leading the Indians, trying for the sweep. KC won on Monday 2-1 and 3-2 last night. They had 2 big innings, 4-run 5th, a 3-run 6th, and Luke Hochevar did the job in the 7th, striking out Kipnis to end any greater threat. And now he'll start the 8th inning facing Lindor, Napoli, and Santana.
Well, one of the big reasons the Royals have been to the top of the mountain 2 years in a row is because of that bullpen. Fantastic stuff. They got hard throwers. They got a few finesse guys, but mainly pitchers know how to hit their spot and put out fires.
And the Royals playing very well lately. A 1.04 ERA. Their last 6 games coming into tonight. Lindor with a walk, pop up, and a fly out. 2 balls, no strikes. Yeah, there's a certain toughness on this Kansas City team. Even though they lost 8 in a row, they just didn't seem to lose their rudder and charge through it. And they've won 4 straight since. Our associate producer Dave Holtzman always puts a little quote in the stats that he sends our way. And it was from Tony La Russa, who won a world championship with Oakland and also with St. Louis. There's a strike. And the quote was from Tony La Russa, "I'm a great believer in the character of a club. To me, character has a lot to do with how you compete. That creates urgency and toughness. That elevates the talent that you have."
Better believe it. You got to have character. And you know how you develop character? By losing, by getting it handed to you, like the Royals did in 2011, 12, 13. Hey, they started seeing some progress.
He struck him out. The Royals will welcome in another American League Central foe tomorrow night. The Detroit Tigers in town. That means the great Miguel Cabrera, but Danny Duffy has been dealing of late, and he'll be on the hill. On the other side will be Justin Verlander. Come on out, because Thursday nights, Buck nights here at the K.
Yeah, and the Tigers are not going away yet either. Today just coming in there. 2 games back.
They were losing last time we checked 3-2 to the Chicago White Sox. As 5-3 now. We're told the score is now 5-3. Chicago has that lead. Chicago had that amazing comeback on Monday when I believe they were down by 7 runs. And Frankie Rodriguez's fastball was like 84 miles an hour, and he blew the save. That ball struck pretty well. Gerard Dyson back near the wall and pulls it down. 2 outs.
That ball was hit off the end of his bat, and I thought it was just going to be a routine out. It'll tell you in this humidity and as hot as it is tonight here at the K, that favors hitters.
Well, the Royals have done a great job throughout the season keeping Carlos Santana in check. He is 5 for 38 this year against the Royals. He's a guy who's always done damage against Kansas City. I mean, in this ballpark, .339 average with 13 home runs. First pitch outside, ball 1.
9 more meetings between these 2 teams, and fortunately 6 of those are right here at the K. Just 3 at Progressive in September.
Another high fly ball right side.
Where's Whitley? Right there. Believe it.
Bottom 8 we go. Royals 9-4 over Cleveland. And he is our AT&T high-speed replay.
That's right. They've been getting Esky out inside the whole series, and he says, all right, I'm going to take care of that. Get him out of there, and he did. Nice line drive base hit. He'll take it. So will his teammates. Up by 5.
We've got a new pitcher for the Cleveland Indians. It's their closer, Cody Allen, obviously coming in just to get some work. 13 for 14 in save opportunities this year, but a higher ERA than he'd like at 3.38. This guy's a great story because he was just Cleveland's 23rd round pick in 2011 out of High Point College.
He's got a nice fastball. He'll go low to mid-90s. Power curve. Might throw an occasional changeup.
Last year had 34 saves. Escobar 1 for 3 with a sacrifice. Strike in there. And Eske broke his bat. But Hud, it really is amazing how well the Royals play at home. 21-7 this year. And they've had all kinds of tough times on the road this season. 13-23 away from Kauffman Stadium.
Well, our outstanding partner, Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, calls it the Magic Kingdom for a reason. There's been a lot of magic here over the last 2.5 seasons.
And that last homestand when the Royals won all 6 and started with those 3 amazing comebacks over the White Sox. So the belief in that clubhouse and that dugout, incredible.
Especially after coming off of that long 11-day 10-game road trip. I mean, I thought that was never going to end. And some of the players on the airplane said, we're going home.
Yeah.
Where the wins are plentiful.
Escobar making Allen work. Allen will take care of Escobar, and there's one down. The Royals and Fox Sports Kansas City are offering a unique way for fans across the Midwest to enjoy a game at Kauffman Stadium. It's the Forever Royal Fan Express. Fans in designated markets will have the opportunity to win a trip to the K. Next stop is St. Joe on June 25th. Go to Royals.com/Fan Express for more information. Eric Hosmer is 2 for 4, has driven in a couple of runs and scored 2. Meantime, Chin-Min Wong is warming in the Kansas City bullpen. Roller back to Allen, and he'll throw out Haas, and there's 2 out. Father's Day is this Sunday. We want you to treat your dad to an afternoon at the yard as the Royals take on the Tigers. We will provide Dad with a great gift as the first 10,000 men through the gates will receive a special edition KC barbecue spatula. Get your Father's Day tickets at Royals.com/promotions or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. That young lady saying, Daddy, can we stay around for Salvi's splash at the end?
Yeah, that's right. And smiles all over the place, especially when you have a big league game used baseball. You are in the game, young man.
Lorenzo with a couple of hits. He's been on 3 times. He was also intentionally walked. Doubled back in the first to drive in Hosmer, and singled and scored in the home run by Salvador Perez, who really broke open the game in the 5th. The Royals had jumped in front 3-2 on a wild pitch that scored Butera. One ball, 2 strikes. A play that was not made by Michael Martinez at third base. Throw that brought Napoli off the bag, and he had to knock it down. No error charged to Martinez. A hit given to Hosmer, and then Kane would single and Perez would strike one to center field. Over the wall, about 415 feet.
Sure was. What a blast. It lifted everyone, including the 33,546 Royals fans that came tonight. Excited. Now, you know, when the game started, the sun was still out and there was a lot of empty seats. So these fans here, well aware of the weather and the heat index, they started pouring in after the sun went down.
97 degrees at first pitch.
They know how to handle the heat here.
Kane swings and misses. Good 8th inning for Allen, but it's the Royals heading to the 9th. Lead by 5. We'll see Wing when we come back. Wong will come out to pitch. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be
disseminated
without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals. Royals took a 2-0 lead in the first, and it held up until the 5th when Rajay Davis went deep to tie it. But the Royals clubbed the Indians for 4 runs in the 5th, 3 more in the 6th. That's been pretty much it. Salvador Perez went deep, and the Royals now with 11 home runs in their last 6 games. Wong is 1-3, a 3.09 ERA. He'll face Chisenhall, Gomes, and Naquin.
His 20th game. Sinker, slider, changeup.
Should the Royals close this out quickly, they'll be 22-7 at home, averaging 4.5 runs at the K. Full run more than what they do on the road. 0-2. The Royals won all 6 games on their last homestand. They won on the road. They had the lead. Cleveland had a walk-off win and then swept the Royals. And boy, it's nice to come home and pay them back.
Better believe it, partner. And I'll tell you what, the Royals gave them that first game, and that took the air right out of their tires. That mojo went with it. Cleveland got back in it. Their fangs came out. They pitched, they defended, and they out-hit us. Sent us reeling.
In Cleveland, the numbers are not as staggering, but they're much better at Progressive Field than they are on the road as well. They're a team that averages 5.5 runs per game at home at Progressive, batting .285 as a team, but on the road, if they lose this one, they'll be .500 on the road, averaging just 4 runs per game, a full run and a half less, and hitting just .225 away from Progressive. Ground ball right side. Cologne throws out. Lonnie Chisenhall, and there's one down. A reminder that Boulevard Royals Live will be coming your way next with Joel and Monte. That's on Fox Sports Kansas City, so stay with us.
Yeah, love talking about it. 2 more outs. Royals getting it done. Revenge. Cologne and Merrifield going to get opportunities now that they DFA'd Omar Infante, designated for assignment. Now watch this routine play. Okay, these are the plays you make. Yeah, you have to. And that's what Cologne's been doing so well with this year. With Merrifield, both of those guys are trustworthy enough to where they could cut ties with Infante. He's got to make them feel pretty positive.
Here's Chesler Cuthbert over the top. Low throw, scooped by Hosmer.
Chesler saying, hey, thanks, Haas. Look at that guy, Whitney Merrifield. Look at that smile. How about it, man? Fans starting to get on their feet. This is exactly what they wanted. A home sweep.
Home sweep home. Royals came in with the best winning percentage at home in all of baseball. They've won 75% of their games at the K, and the fans in blue absolutely love them. They'll be 22-7 after this one. Naquin 0 for 2 with a walk, and he scored in the home run by Martinez. Both of these teams will be 35-30 should the Royals get this last out. KC won on Monday 2-1, won last night 3-2. Hit pretty well to left. Dyson backpedaling, makes the catch, and the Royals and Cleveland Indians are now tied for the American League Central.
High fives all around. Salvi got a half days off. He appreciates that, but he'll also take his first home run as a designated hitter.
Yeah. A 3-run blast and a 4-run fifth that broke the game wide open. And there's a look at your American League Central standings. The Royals came into this homestand trailing Cleveland by 3. The sweep locks it up.
Yes, but I got to tell you that Salvi's replacement on defense, Drew Butera, had a game. Way to go. He did the little things. He moved the runner. He had a perfectly executed hit and run. Drew Butera is going to get the Salvi splash. I feel it coming. There it was. Moved the runners over. Got to get a run out of it. Sure enough, he drops one out there in front of the diving Naquin in center field. Picked up a double. He's on the prowl. He got a little head flip. Then there's a wild pitch. Perfect jump. Scored it with no problem. And then he executed a perfectly placed hit and run, and that's a beautiful thing. Move the runners. Stay hot. Take the sweep. And let Salvi be back in there tomorrow.
Ian Kennedy did a nice job as the starting pitcher. He got the win, gave up 4 runs in 6 2/3 innings. And Corey Kluber, dynamic. The last 5 starts, Hud, he has been absolutely on fire, and the Royals rocked Corey Kluber for 8 runs, the most he's allowed this year in just 5+ innings.
Couple mistakes early up in the zone, set the tone early. The Royals got 2 in the first.
Let's go to Joel.
All right, last night he provided the Gatorade bucket. Tonight, hopefully he'll be the one taking it. We'll see. Drew Butera, nice job behind the plate and at the plate. What do you think the biggest key to the turnaround starting in Chicago has been over the last week? What happened?
We got the same plan yesterday.
You guys had a good plan yesterday. All right, let's get back to business here. Everybody's safe. He got you a little bit. And now he gets the big Gatorade bath ovation. Okay, what's been the biggest key? Because you guys won the series in Chicago and then have come back home and played great baseball.
Just some timely hitting, good defense, and our pitching staff has done a great job for us.
How much does it help being back here?
We knew we were coming back, so we had to get on a little roll for the fans.
I want to talk to you about your pitcher tonight, Ian Kennedy. What made him so good in this contest?
He just attacked the zone.
There it is. That's all there's left. That would be the blue as opposed to the orange last night that you delivered. Tell me about Ian Kennedy.
So cold. Yeah, again, he just attacked the zone. Had his, his good fastball working today, threw a lot of strikes, and was able to mix in some other pitches when he needed to.
Last thing for you, against a guy like Corey Kluber, who's been so locked in, how important are just those little things, the hit and run and just the way you're able to get to him?
Yeah, it's Royals baseball. We want to get to him early. We knew we had Ian Kennedy going for us in a strong bullpen. We threw up some couple runs early and let them do some work.
Got a hair flip there? There you go, Drew Butera, a hair full of Gatorade, and a big night for him and the Royals. Fizz?
Did he ever, Joel, with a couple of hits, a sacrifice, scored 2, and with the Salvi splash, he took it. It was cold, but the fans love it here in Kansas City as their Royals are now tied with Cleveland for first place in the American League Central. We'll be right back.